Hey guys, we need to have a talk. I'm kind of fed up with a lot of the builders here in Utah and some of the delays that they're causing for a lot of the buyers that are out there. You know, over the past couple of months, I've actually been a big believer in new construction here in Utah and have been pushing people to go this route because of all the benefits that you get. You get the ability to buy a brand new home, you get to choose the lot, you get to choose the floor plan, you get to choose everything that goes in it, and you get the ability to lock in a price today and not have to pay that price until you actually close on the home, which at that point, with the way things have gone, there's a good chance you'd actually be sitting on a good chunk of equity. However, there are some downsides that we really need to talk about because this is affecting a lot of people, and a lot of my clients who are in contract with these builders are facing these exact problems, and I'm kind of fed up with it. You know, I understand that there's been a lot of delays with COVID and with everything going on in the world and supply and demand issues and just the insane housing growth that we've had over the past year. But you need to continue to put these homes as a priority for these buyers and be able to get them into the home as soon as possible. What I'm going to talk about here in this video is going to impact everybody who's looking to buy an existing home here in Utah, or if you're looking at new construction specifically, this is going to be major news for you, and it's going to be some stuff that you want to pay attention to. So with that said, let's jump into it. Now, as we get started, my name's Cody Steck. I'm a real estate agent here in Utah, and I help people from all across the world relocate right here to Salt Lake City, Utah, and all of the surrounding suburbs. If you're thinking about doing that, make sure to get in touch with me. I absolutely love it when you guys reach out, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. My information is on the screen. Call, text, or email anytime. Now, with that said, let's jump into this video here. So I am just completely fed up with the builders and their excuses and their delays and just all of the problems that they've been giving to these buyers who are in the market trying to purchase homes. I've heard of horror stories of people builders who are actually canceling contracts on buyers because they say, hey, look, we just don't have the materials, or we don't have the laborers, we can't build your home. And honestly, I think that's kind of a cop-out. You know, a lot of these builders have these systems and processes in place. You know, some of the newer ones or the smaller ones might not, but these bigger builders do have the ability to go out there and build these homes. They're just being, you know, a little bit lazy, and they've realized that the home prices have gone up so much that if the buyer decides to walk away, they can go and sell that same exact home and make at least $50,000 to $100,000 profit on that same exact home with no changes. So unfortunately, a lot of builders are not acting in good faith in that regard. I'm not going to point out any names here in this video, but there are a lot of builders out there who are doing these types of shady things. Now, it is a small portion of the market. I'm not saying every single builder is out there doing this, but it is something you kind of need to be aware of and just be aware of the reality of the situation. So that is something that I'm seeing here. I'm also seeing that some builders are building spec homes or building other homes out of order because they may be able to produce a bigger profit for the builder. I think for two reasons they're doing this. Number one, they're hoping that the buyer who they're pushing to the back burner might potentially just get fed up with the situation and might just walk away altogether. Now, the builder probably would give the deposit back to that buyer, but like I just said a minute ago, the buyer would be in a position where they're walking away. They've lost all this time. They've lost 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe 12 months, and they've lost out on their dream home. Yet the builder gets to go and move on and be able to sell that home for a massive profit still. This is really unfortunate because those buyers have committed to purchasing this house, and the builder committed to buying or to building it for them, right? So I see this as a huge issue because these builders are essentially taking advantage, or some of these builders, I'm not saying every single builder, but some of these builders are taking advantage of the buyers who are out there in the market. The builders are looking at this from a business decision where they say, hey, we need to build these other homes and sell them at a higher price so that we can recapture some of the money and continue to pay people who are in our business. Now, when you look at it from that perspective, of course, you know, I understand why a builder would have to make that decision or want to make that decision in their own business, right? They're in the business to make money as well at the end of the day. So I understand that. But at the end of the day, it can't always come down to just price. It comes down to reputation. What kind of reputation do you want to build in the market for yourself? What type of reputation do you want to build for these agents and these buyers who are looking at purchasing your homes? You know, one of the other things I've noticed in the market as well is that some builders out there are looking to cut agents out of the deal completely. They either want to cut the agent out so they don't have to pay any commission, or they're paying fractions of a dollar on what they used to pay when it comes to a commission. So the reality is these builders know that the market is red hot, and they know that there's people out there who are willing to cut their agent out of the deal, or agents who will take a drastically smaller commission. However, when the market turns, and it will will turn at some point. When the market slows down and it cools off and these builders are no longer able to move inventory, agents and buyers are going to remember what builders out there screwed over these buyers. So again, it goes back to that reputation. They might be able to make a quick buck now, but they're not really building a great name for themselves in the long run. The delays that we're seeing in the market right now are largely focused around concrete and lumber. Right now, there's a concrete shortage and there's not enough concrete to go around. Concrete is one of those things where it has to be mixed and then poured within a short amount of time. So I can understand how there would be shortages on that, and the builders may not be able to pre-order that type of material. However, when it comes to lumber, and again, I'm no expert when it comes to lumber, but I would imagine, hey, you've got a home coming up, you know it's going to be there, you know the dimensions when you submit for a permit. Why can't you get that lumber pre-ordered, 3 months in advance so that the lumber yard can get that order in their queue? This isn't something that I totally understand, and maybe there's some other factors in this situation that I'm missing, but I just am not quite understanding this. From understanding business on a basic level and understanding how the buying and selling and building process works in real estate, this is something that I believe builders should be able to accommodate for, but a lot of them haven't been able to. On top of that, they're also having a worker shortage. A lot of workers are not coming back to work, or they don't want to work, or they're being stolen away by other builders. And so everybody's facing this worker shortage, where even if they do get lumber on site, they don't have anybody to frame it. So this is an issue where, honestly, if you're a contractor, come to Utah. We need contractors. We need contractors of every single type: plumbers, electricians, framers, concrete workers, roofers. We need contractors of everything. So if you're in one of those trades, there is no shortage of work here. You can easily come here and make 6 figures in your first year. That said, there's a shortage of these workers, and these problems are getting pushed onto the buyer. It's really unfortunate because the way that these new construction contracts are written, unfortunately, do favor the builder, right? The builder has a lot of protections in there that say, hey, if we get slowed down, not our fault. Hey, if there's delays in this, not our fault. Hey, if we need to raise prices, not our fault. The builder really has a lot of protections. So that is something you need to look out for. In most cases, 98% of the time, the builder's not going to jerk you around, and they're going to give you a fair and honest deal. This is why I'm still such a big believer in new construction. I'm just here to point out some of the flip side where you might be looking at this and saying, hey, when that one rare circumstance does happen where the builder does kind of jerk you around and they're delaying things and they're not pushing your deal through and they're putting other people in front of you and, not meeting the deadlines that they've given you, it can be really frustrating. That is a small portion of the market, but it is happening. So I don't know, guys. I'm just wanting to share this information with you because I'm kind of fed up with builders. If you're thinking about moving here and you want to build a home, let's talk about this. Let's actually figure out if this is the best decision for you. It might be. There's always the unknown of, where prices might go. There's always the unknown of how long it will take to build your home. There's always the unknown of interest rates in the future. So there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to new construction. Those are kind of the cons, the negatives to building new construction. But there's also a lot of positives. I don't want to get rid of the positives that we've talked about here on this channel. You get to choose everything that you want in the house. You get to choose your lot. You get to choose, you can kind of line up when you're going to move in, which could be a positive. And you get to choose exactly what goes into the house. So there are a lot of positives, but there are also some negatives. So if you're thinking about making that move here, let's talk about that decision first and make sure it's actually the right decision for you. Oftentimes, if you've got a little bit of money, you can buy an existing home, put some money into it, renovating it, and end up with a better home without all the hassle of having to wait for your new construction home. With all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Drop a comment down below if you've ever built a home here in Utah or you've built a home somewhere else. Let me know what that experience was like for you. I'd love to hear about it. Give me a thumbs up here on the video. Contact me if you're thinking about making a move here. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more videos on what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, and play here in Salt Lake City and all of the surrounding suburbs. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I release videos just like this almost every single week. With that said, guys, catch you in the next one.